Welcome back to Surviving and Thriving, where we share with you the things that we have learned as we have transitioned our family from struggling to survive disease to thriving, right smack dab in the midst of it, in the hopes that something that we share with you will help you, enlighten you, and encourage you as you transition your family from struggling to survive disease to thriving, right smack dab in the midst of it. You know, when you were younger and you graduate, right? I know when I was growing up, the part of the country that I was in, we would graduate from middle school into high school, and then you would graduate from high school, and then if you pursue school out after that, you graduate from your different levels of colleges, right? Well, that was always exciting to have a graduation, right? Some got parties, some got limos, some, went out to dinner with their family. Everybody celebrates different, but there's acknowledgement a graduation has taken place, right? Well, it's not necessarily like that when you're going through health issues. I'm sorry, God bless me. It's not necessarily like that when you're going through health issues. When you're going through health issues, you don't always recognize that you've graduated to another level, especially when you're down at really low places, really low states where physically you're not doing very well health-wise. You're in a really bad place, a really bad state. There's not always a graduation party for you, and sometimes it's hard to recognize that you've graduated. Even if you've been in the hospital for a while, if you've been in ICU for a while, you get out and you get to come home. You're excited because you get to go home, but you're still, you're lacking strength, you're lacking energy, and recovery is just beginning. You're still not always where you need to be. So even though that's sort of a graduation, right? You're upgraded, but in your health, in the sense that you're not in a critical moment, but it doesn't feel like you've gotten a greater level or at a greater place. You got the happiness of being home, but you still got the battle ahead of you of recovery. And so when we're going through health things, no matter what level we are, sometimes it's really hard to see that you've graduated and gone to another level, that your hard work has paid off for you. So today we're going to talk about that, going to another level. Not necessarily that what it takes to get to another level, but to be able to recognize when you are at another level, because it's so easy to not recognize it. And a lot of that is because you still got to work ahead of you. And a lot of that also is because even when you've progressed, it doesn't really feel like you've progressed, because you got a lot more that you got to work on and you got to do. And that can be a frustrating process. And it can actually make some feel like quitting. Well, we all may feel like we want to quit at times because it seems like it's overwhelming and it's not enough, but some people will quit while other people will press on. Number one, I want to encourage everyone, don't quit. It's worth it. Life, health is worth it, right? So you want to live, and not just live, but live your life to the fullest and to the best. And the best way for you to be able to do that is to keep pursuing getting better levels of health, better levels of strength, so that you can have better levels of life. But it's oftentimes hard to recognize when you've gone from one level to another level, right? Sometimes you can work really hard, you're doing stuff, and you got a little bit more strength, or maybe you're a little bit healthier. You're not in such a crisis mode, right? But it's really hard to recognize it because you're still not as strong as you need to be. You still have a lot more you need to work on, and you're still battling the day-to-day things with your health. You're still having to take a lot of stuff, show a lot of discipline, eat a lot of things, work out, rehab, or do all the things that you need to do. That health issue is still standing right there in front of you. And so sometimes it's hard to really know that you've gone to another level, especially when you're in the low levels. When you're at real low places, it's really hard on multiple levels to see that you've increased. Now, as you start having big jumps and you get to higher levels, right, you can tell that you're doing better. Like, I can tell that I'm doing better. I've gotten to the place where I'm able to jog. I'm able to jog a mile, right? And that's a good thing, right? I still have my recovery time I need, and I still go through different things, but I'm able to do it, where before I couldn't even stand up, and I had no strength in my hips, so I couldn't even, I needed help to just stand. You guys, I was in a really weak place, in a really bad place. So yeah, I can see that I've gotten to another level. So if you go through something like that, that's a big jump. You can tell that you're at another level when you go from not being able to do to you're able to do a whole lot more like that. That's a big jump. Not being able to stand to be able to run around, that's a huge jump. You can tell that you've increased. You can tell that you've grown. But the other part of that, and you know, you guys remember, I've had to learn how to walk again about 3 times now, right? So I'm telling you from a lot of experience, hindsight, even present, you know, just to be able to tell you things that you go through. I've noticed that these are things that you go through, right? And hopefully it will be able to help you. But when you get to higher levels where you're able to do a lot more, you can tell that you've had a drastic change and there's been massive progress, right? Even though there's massive progress, what happens is once you graduate to another level and you're able to do more, you're stronger, you're getting better. Just because you're at another level does not mean that everything is going to be easier, or that there's not going to be new challenges, or that it just doesn't mean all the things that you probably could think that it's going to mean. And sometimes that could be disappointing, and we can overlook that we're at that place because of the things that we have going on, and we thought that things would get relief. We would get relief from some of the things that we've gone through. That's not necessarily so. When you get to another level, there are things that you're going to be able to do that you hadn't been able to do before. There's going to be a lot of great benefits on that next level. You're going to be able to have a greater quality of life. You're going to be able to do things you weren't able to do. Take the time to stop to recognize that. Grasp it and hold on to it. Sometimes it's good to put up pictures of yourself at different levels, because when you look at those pictures, you can remember where you were, and it'll help you to appreciate where you are today. Sometimes it's good to write some stuff down so you can look at it to know that this is where you were, this is where you are, and that's really exciting because you can see the differences. Sometimes it's good to ask people. Ask my husband. I even ask my children, what have you seen? Is this working for me? Because sometimes when you're in the middle of it, you guys, it's hard to see it and grab hold of it at times. And sometimes you don't see as clear. You need that encouragement. However, with that, I want to share with you that even when you get to another level, you need to recognize all of those good things, because nobody's going to celebrate you necessarily. So you've got to recognize it to celebrate yourself. But even when you're at that new level, you guys, listen up. This is real important. Guess what? Lots of other things are going to be revealed to you. You're still going to have some challenges. So you can have a goal to say, I'm trying to get to this level, and then you get there, you go, okay, you know, like if you're completely bedridden, you want to be able to get up, you want to be able to walk, you worked, it's been however many years you've been working on it, and now you're at a place that you can walk, right? And then you go, oh, wow, even though I'm up and I'm walking, my hips are stronger, my legs are stronger, then you realize, you know what, I have no upper body strength. My arms are weak, or your core has lacked a lot of strength, and so now you need to work on that. Sometimes if you're going through certain health issues and one thing is blaring out at you, it's a big crisis, you get that thing under control and you're all excited about getting it under control, and then another health issue can pop up. Why? Because it wasn't that the health issue wasn't there sometimes. It's just that this one thing was blaring so loud you weren't really aware of all the other things. Have you ever had maybe like a toothache, right? And your toothache was hurting, some part of your body was hurting so bad that all you thought was that part was hurting, but once you get something to numb that up or to deal with it, take some aspirin or something, you realize that, you know, you had another cut somewhere or a pain somewhere else that you couldn't really realize because that pain was doled out by the loud, alarming pain of something else, right? It happens that way in your health too. So sometimes you can get something under control, you've got increase and you've done better in a certain area, and then boom, you see there's something else that you need to work on. It's not that it wasn't always there, it's just that now you can see it because you've cleared up some other things. And so what happens is, because that happens, when you get to another level, you can feel like you haven't accomplished anything. You can feel like you're running around in circles when really you're not. You're actually progressing. You're now able to clear up some stuff so that you can clear up some other things and deal with other things that need to be dealt with. So when you get to another level, recognize it, celebrate it. That's a good thing. But the other part of that, you guys, is to not just celebrate it, but don't allow yourself to get depressed or to get upset or to get overwhelmed because you're seeing there's another challenge on that new level, right? Every level has its own challenges in life. For everybody, whether you're in a place where you're not dealing with health issues, or if you're placed where you are dealing with health issues, it doesn't matter. Everybody has to go, when they go through to different levels, they're going to face different challenges. And when you're going through a different level to another level in your health issues, other things might arise that now you have the ability to deal with. They may not be as severe as the other things that you were dealing with, or they could be serious things. Sometimes, here's the thing that you need to know. Sometimes it's not that they're so severe. Sometimes it's just the weightiness of always having to deal with some stuff. It seems like, man, I had to deal with this, and then I had to go through that. It seems like there's always something going on, and you're not as bad as you think you are, right? Don't look at yourself and think that you're just a total wreck and it's not even worth it. No, you are progressing. You are doing good. That's a good sign. So sometimes when you find something else that you need to deal with and you need to work on, don't look at it and get depressed or get upset or feel like it's overwhelmed. Look at it and smile and be like, I done made it to another level. We can welcome that sometimes instead of looking at it with dread. Welcome that and recognize that, you know what, you've made it to another level. You've accomplished some things. You got some things under your belt. And maybe that's a moment to have a little celebration, right? To celebrate only for a little while because you got to get back up and face those new challenges. But that is just something that I wanted to share with you to help you to be aware of so that maybe you can navigate through that a lot easier if that's something that you're going through. I'm sure it is, because I'm sure a lot of us have gone through it. I know I go through that a lot over the years. But I have come to a place where I've been able to look at some things and smile and say, you know what? I'm ready for this challenge. Some things have cleared up. I've gone to another level. Hope something in there is helpful for you. Remember, in all things, at all time, do you. Be you. Every family is different. Every perfect person is different. And you need to do what's best for your family. Do what's best for you. Until next time. Bye.